Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another classic album review. And we're during the month of September we are going to be doing some blues through this month. So today we're going to look at one of the very first, what has been described as one of the first pop rock stars ever, and we're talking about Robert Johnson. Now Robert Johnson was born in 1911, and most of his landmark recordings were between 1936 and 1937. Now, there are only 29 songs he recorded, and he influenced so many people. And a lot of you find people put a blues cover on an album. There's Robert Johnson. I mean, Eric Clapton's a huge Robert Johnson fan. I love Robert Johnson. Even Thunder like Robert Johnson. You know, there's he's just one of them great singers. Now, he's one of the most influential singers, as I said, of the 20th century. Now, he died in 1938 at the age of 27, so he's probably the first person to be entered into the 27 club. There's been all sorts of rumours of how he died. One is that he died of syphilis, but there are other stories. Now, one of them was told by Sonny Boy Williamson, who said that Robert had been flirting with this young lady who was married, and she gave him a bottle of whiskey that was poisoned by her husband. And there's one story. So there's all these sort of stories saying that he was poisoned and either just cold-blooded murdered. So yeah, there's still a mystery actually what he died of. The birth certificate only listed the date and location. No other thing was determined. So there we go. So the album we're going to look at today it's actually a compilation album, and it's called King of the Delta Blues Singers. Now, it was released by Columbia Records in 1961, and it is considered one of the most influential blues releases. Rolling Stone ranked it at 374 on their list of 500 albums. Now, this album has got 16 mono recordings, which 9 were only available on 78s, and they were recorded between 1936 and 1937. As I said, he's only ever recorded 29 songs, and I've got a copy of every song that he recorded. So we'll have a look at this album and a little bit about them. So the first one is Crossroads Blues. Now, this was recorded on the 27th of November 1936. Cream sort of recorded this. It's a great track. It's called just Crossroads. Great blues song. I love how simple it is. It's Robert and a guitar and a chair, and he had a great voice. I love listening to that. Then we get Terraplane Blues, which was recorded again on 23rd of November 1936. And you can just imagine Robert sitting on that chair playing this style of blues. Lots of people have covered this song, and everyone sort of does their interpretation of it. That's just a great song. Come On in My Kitchen, another song recorded in 1936, same day as Terraplane Blues. The words are just interesting. It just tells you a bit about life during America in the 1930s. He's just singing about normal things. Great little track. Then we get Walkin Blues, another track recorded in 36. One of my favourite tracks by Robert Johnson. And it starts off with the great long, a lot of blues songs, Woke Up This Morning. And just to think this recording was done in 1936, it's just incredible. There are also people say, "Oh, Robert Johnson sounds the same." Yes, but all the words are different, and his guitar work, it was very good. And he was only playing it on an acoustic guitar, which is even better. Last Fair Deal Gone Down. Really good guitar playing on this. Absolutely very sad vocal as well, moody vocal. That's one thing he was good at, singing. If it's a happy song, he'd be happy, but he was telling stories. These are just stories put to words put to music. Sorry. Yes, Rocky, I did mark that one up. Then we get 3220 Blues, another track from 36. Solid track. The playing on again is just how he gets these different tones on an acoustic guitar is just incredible. Then we get Kind Hearted Woman Blues, another track that everybody's covered. Second favourite track on here, fantastic little track. Then we have If I Had Possession Over Judgement Day. Sings it a little bit different, very high notes in this. So simple guitar, wonderful little track. Then we have Preachin Blues, which is one of his most popular songs. Again, people have covered it. Again, it's telling the story of the time. When You've Got a Friend comes next. Sounds very start Sweet Home Chicago, which is not on this album, believe it or not, but it's a classic blues song and one of my favourites. Ramblin' on My Mind, I've heard a great version of this by local blues bands. Every time I see a band they do this one, it's just wonderful, and this is just great. Him on that chair, there's a picture of him with his guitar on a chair, and you can just imagine him. He's got a suit on and his trilby hat. You can just imagine that's how he used to sit and record. Absolutely brilliant. Stones in My Passway. Now, I've heard this, because this is just the guitar. Even in the guitar sound, you know there's going to be a shuffle. And I've heard people do this in a voice, put this shuffle drum thing. This was recorded in 1937. It's a great track. Travelling Riverside Blues. Now, this again from 1937. This is very clever because he's changed his tempo halfway through on his guitar. Just very clever. Then we get the brilliant Milkcow Calf Blues. Another classic. Jeff Beck's recorded this. Eric Clapton's recorded it. I've heard Rory Gallagher do this. I've heard Stevie Ray Vaughan do versions of this. I've heard Aerosmith do it. I've heard so many different versions of it. It's just a classic track. But the original, it's raw. It's just a staple of any blues band now, this track. Absolutely killer track. Simple but striking. Then we get Me and the Devil Blues. I love how he goes down the scales on the guitar, and his key and his vocal changes as he goes down the keys, down the scales. Really clever little song. Hellhound on My Trail. Some lovely playing on this. How can you concentrate on playing guitar and singing at the same time? Very, very good track. That was the last track. So the critic said that the Los Angeles Times wrote that Johnson's recordings for albums revolutionised the Mississippi Delta style, that what became the foundation of the Chicago blues sound. The Wall Street Journal wrote, when his album King of the Delta Blues Singers was made, it was a belated way to England in the mid-1960s. It energised generations of musicians. 1980, the King of the Delta Blues, became the first album to be inducted into the Blues Foundation of the Blues Hall of Fame. So, as I said, Rolling Stones put it as 374 in their records. Mojo magazine ranked it at 6 on its 100 records that changed the world. AllMusic gave it 4 stars. Birmingham Post 5 stars. Dawn Beat 5 stars. Ebony favourable. New York Times in 1969 gave it favourable. The New York Times in 1988 gave it favourable. Texas Monthly was favourable. Vibe favourable. The Encyclopedia of Popular Music 5 out of 5. The Wall Street Journal favourable, and the Penguin Guide to Blues Recorded gave it a 5. You know, considering there's only 29 songs, 17 are on here. I've got 2 albums and I've got all the recordings, so I love it. Yeah, I think he's an acquired taste, but I love the origins of blues music. Guitar, chair, sing, record. It's one of the greatest blues musicians that ever lived. Very short life, but he's left his mark. So for this album, I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, that's all for today. Tomorrow we are up to part 4 of the Elton John story, and we're going to look at his albums of the 1990s. And tomorrow's retro ranking again is a little bit of a special one. This one came out of a conversation that we had on a live stream a few months back. And we don't just talk about music on there, we talk about comedy, and let's talk about Monty Python. There's a few Monty Python fans out there, and it was suggested that I pick my favourite Monty Python songs, and I have. So that's tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun. All I will say, you'll need to watch it from start to finish. That's all I'll say on that one. So have a great day. It's a nice sunny day. Hopefully it's not so sticky today. It's been sticky all weekend. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.